like real sweet giveaway that so tags, they're usually on the same ones, but I'm sure there's nothing else on the tag, right? Oh, this is what it was. Look at this. See this? Do you see that? Yeah. It's giving you the date, the exact date it was made. And it's a little, you know, you should always check your labels, like the interior, like your room for sex. These interior labels that look like they're inconsequential. If you have a designer or high-end piece, you might not have this. But this is a Missoni, and it actually has a label, and in really small print, it tells you when it was fabricated. They actually, the day of the year. So that's like huge, okay? Do you see that? But when you write down the percentages, I want to know, like, what are the percentages, right? And yeah, so don't keep it wrinkly, all wrinkled up, but you know, while you're doing this. You want to be taking photos as you go. Take photos of your label. We'll put things on dress forms, and we'll start doing that today, so you can photograph them. I have a minute for it. Because that is what you put together, those images are what you put together for your final presentation to the class, got it? Okay, so that's really important. And that goes from when you're researching, you're collecting images, because you want to prove it to me in your dress analysis and in the final project, right? Okay, so all of it is sort of honing everything. The dress analysis is and the reading responses are the biggest, you know, part of your writing, and then it gets smaller as the semester goes on, right? You do a catalog entry that you pull from the dress analysis. It's like 2 pages, and then you do like an exhibition label, so it actually doesn't get bigger at the end; it gets smaller. Okay. Yeah.
Pictures of the labels. We also just take in general mice and have a label.
Yeah, you have a different one. Yeah. So we'll put yours on a dress form and shoot it that way. And you have a little unusual situation. So for you, for example, also if it has a second label, like a store label where it was sold, like yours might, Christina, you know, I want to know where, right? So handmade, Italy. We looked at couture garments last week. I don't know if they're here. There's another one, right? And it's telling you 100% cashmere. I don't think there are any other labels. But they're always in the same. Usually, you're on the lower part. We do have Lord & Taylor and DBF, right? Okay. So that means we want to know about Lord & Taylor. I mentioned that. And also, do you have, okay, do we have a grid? Yeah, right? We established yours as couture because it has that secondary thing, so you need to shoot it because you're found, right? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
What's that?
And then, yeah. I have to 13. But this is online, right? I can get the rest of it.
It's on Brightspace. Oh yeah, I'm doing that for the people who missed last week.
Okay.
This is a homemade number. Do you want to shoot it now? Put it on the napkin and shoot it. Yeah, you can come back to it. And Laura, I'm reminding myself. measure the bust, you measure from the bottom of the armpit to the bottom of the armpit on the other side. That's strap.
Oh, okay, I thought the bus was from the neck to,
No,
no.
maybe I'll go over this a bit. All right, so, oh my God. This is such a quintessential 70s piece. All right, so we're gonna take turns, like putting your garment on a mannequin, all right? When you photograph it, you wanna at least take the front and the back and any details, because again, that's gonna be part of your final project, okay? If it's an inside detail, like a label, you definitely wanna shoot that, right? Because that proves everything, right? You wanna prove, we're proving everything. Yeah.
Stop playing. No, you don't.
Are you getting the whole revenue picture right now? You need to back up so the whole thing's in the picture. Oh, there, yeah. It's tilted. Wait till it settles. I'm gonna get this on there. You want me to just turn it for you? Come on in.
What you doing?
The whole thing. Now, when you're answering the questions, remember, oh, I like how you just write really sweet. You're going to put all this together into a narrative. The question won't be a part of it, you'll just be describing it, right? Okay. All right. You good? You can take close-ups on your table. Of course, my fault is in the zipper.
Chill out, bro.
Color is exact size.
Oh, that's pretty good. And you can crop it. And you can crop it.
I'm about to report you, actually.
And snap that and snap. Take the safety pin out. You can, well, you don't have to. I don't know.
Word, what class you in?
But we want it, there's a really big difference between having a flat garment and having one on the dress form, right? Because then you're really going to see what the silhouette is.
Thank you, you too.
I'll get some partially button it, and you want the whole thing. Do you want a sense of like, how long is it? I mean, she wasn't that tall, but, so you back up, make sure you get the whole front. And you get back. Go to the side. See your shoulders. get these marks from the hangers, and my colleagues called them shoulder boobs, because they would be permanent and stretch out. You don't want those. You're getting the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, green. Sorry. So silly. Oh, yeah, I don't know why you make me feel silly, but you do. Yes. Okay, let's come on over and let me show you how to measure, because people have been asking me, and I don't want to keep answering the same thing. Okay. So, everyone knows what high point shoulder is? Okay, so what is high point shoulder? Somebody tell me. What's high point shoulder? Do you remember from last week? Don't answer. Anyone know? High point shoulder is a point where you see this shoulder seam where it connects to the collar, okay? So it's this point. It's not the collar, it's this point. Okay, so then this is the length of this would be, and you can do it centimeters or inches, but just keep it consistent. And do it inches here. You don't want to stretch it out. So this is 42 and a half long. Okay, when you measure the bust, you're going to go armpit to armpit, under the armpit, at the bottom of the armpit, right? So it is 18, so you double that, and that tells you what your bust is, right? And then sleeve. Then you go sleeve from where the sleeve is attached. If it's a drop sleeve, like here, then it would be from that point. And this is how long the sleeve is in total, which is 23 and 3/4. And then if you have a cuff, you know, you're going to measure the cuff, right? So this is like almost 1.5. It's a little bit shy. And why do you do that? Because if it comes into your collection, if you don't do it, it can disappear, and then you don't have any, like things, some people walked with things out of that collection, like a really nice Dior, right? And then there was no description of it, right? So how can we identify what meant when, well, yeah. It's because it's yours, and it, okay, this is, do you know what a Henley is? Right, so a Henley is a row of buttons. Like if you have a, does anyone have a button-down shirt? And we're using it as a poster child for, that is called a placket, where the buttons go, oh, you have a Henley on. So do you see the Henley in the poster child model? It's a short row of buttons, usually on knitwear, okay? And it's called the Henley. It's very specific. So it has a placket, which is that reinforced area with the buttons, and it's shorter. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a Henley opening with 4 buttons, right? And then you can measure the width of the collar. This is called a stand, this part. And for people who have suits, I'll help you with that. This part is the stand. This is the collar itself. 2 different measurements, you understand? It's part of the collar. You go collar, you go stand. You know, how wide is it? It's like 1 1/4 inch, right? And then the Puro collar is like 2 1/4, right? It's different for every garment, so I can help you with this, right? You don't have a collar, right? A lot of them don't have collars. People who have suits are going to have that. In the case of Corbin, right? So here he has a little capelet that's built in. Can everyone see? Is everyone paying attention? He has a built-in capelet, right? This is a capelet. And the cape is longer, but a capelet is like a shorter cape. And I already gave you a slide presentation where you saw that capes were kind of the rage in the 70s. Here's the high point shoulder. So even if you don't have a collar, high point shoulder, and then you measure all the way down to the end. And, oh, I did centimeters to 1 inches. Okay, wait, let me do that. want it stretched, okay, what is it, 60? Okay, and then, he has a cake lid, so what I would do is for the height of it, 19 inches, right? And then he needs to lay this out and get the whole width of the cake, right? And that, what? From the widest point, right, for this. And then, those are the basic things, and then it's sleeveless. So so when you're describing it, this is really important, right? What is the garment? This is a dress, right? It's a long sleeve dress, right? With a Puro collar based on a clown from the 1600s, by the way. As I mentioned, it's in a Missoni print. This is what Missoni is known for. This is zigzag print, got it? So when you describe it, what do we, so if somebody's reading it, and let's say this is your suit, it's a two-piece suit for men. A men's two-piece suit, right? That's what it was designed for, right? And then, for example, something, like this is sleeveless. It would be a sleeveless maxi dress because it comes to the ankle, right? If it hits mid-calf, it would be midi. This is more midi length, right? So you have mini, you have, to the knee, midi hits about here, mid-shin, maxi hits the ankle, right? So yours is a mini. Yeah. Mini. It's short. Wait till we put it on a garment. That'll also help you understand that, right? So your description is really important. So, like, for example, let's put yours here, and then you choose. This one. So this all goes into your description, and it's really important because, let's say you're working for Andrew Bolton at the Met Museum, which is something that you actually do, where I used to work, right? Oh, this is the big one. By the way, this is fully lined in silk, so that needs to be noted, right? This is actually a couture dress. That's a couture day dress, right? We looked at couture labels last week, and we looked at the Chanel, right? So you should have a pretty good idea. Oh, the zips all the way down. This was made for Lauren Bacall. How many people know who she is? Famous actress. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, famous actress. So it has fake buttons. Actually, these are faux, right? Oh, it's not quite an empire. It's very high-waisted. If it was right under the bust, it would be an empire waist. So it's just a very high-waisted dress. This is very characteristic of the 70s to have a really big, this is a collar, yeah, very big peaked collar, right? And the print, and where's the little bow? This goes, I don't know how she's wanted to tie it. It's probably like a pussycat bow, depending on how she wanted to style it, right? And we determined these were flat pockets, anybody who has a problem. But this is a couture garment, and how do I know that? We looked at the label, it's a manual Ungaro. Now, you have the other Ungaro, right, Isabel? Yours is from Parallel. So, and who has Yves Saint Laurent? Is yours from Rive Gauche? So Rive Gauche is the high-end, ready-to-wear line of Yves Saint Laurent, right? Okay, they started back in the late 60s, right? But this is coming out of a couture salon. Doesn't matter, it's not an evening dress. It was made for a very famous actress. This is not a mini, I was wrong. It's to the knee, but it's fully lined in silk. The highest, it's going to be exact, this was made exactly to her measurements, right? Because that's an important part of couture, right? So for those of you who were not here now,
Bye. What's up, y'all? tubes.
You can do a little bit of a padded hanger, actually.
I'm actually about to come visit.
Something's so heavy. It's just
I'm
pulling
about to
so
come visit
hard.
next week.
Also, it's 10:30. This is always a good time to take a break if you need it. So you need to open this baby up in your eyes. So it's fully lined, and so this is hand stitched too. You see it? It's not regular. I'm looking at the bottom too. Stitched on it. Yes, it is. Like, do you see it? This is probably machine. No, that and this is probably machine stitch. This is a blind stitch. Yeah. So that's what makes it very high end as well, right? Okay, and did we find any other tag in here? Did you go all the way in here?
Yeah.
And it's like the Albert Capraro because it's a designer company in Italy. It's not going to have it. Okay, let's dress it. I'm going to have you help me just to hold the weight of the, I'm going to grab it like this. If you could hold the weight of like a sleeve or something, and keep the sleeves this way too. It's so scary. It's classic, just terror. Ways. It's just gonna get better. You know what I mean? Yeah. Wait, do we have? You just support the weight of the plastic, the collar especially. Oh my gosh. So, you're gonna be researching the history of the human fashion because you've got a long history of food. It is. It should be smart. It's good. All right, ready to do that? Okay, so I'm gonna have you say anything after I release this. Now. Hold that for a second. I'm just gonna do it here. This one. I love that Yiddish word. It's so descriptive, right? I yell it. She appreciates my use of Yiddish.
Sometimes, I didn't grow up with a ton of it. The word sophisticated, but otherwise, not as much.
Fakatka. Love that.
I've never heard that one before. Forgot what?
Fakatka means effed up. Fakatka. It's fakatka. Love that. They're so expressive. Kick 'em in the kishkas. That's from a movie in Woody Allen. Okay. Sorry, Woody Allen is such a reprehensible creature, but he did make good things. Okay. Alright. Alright, so put the whole thing in. And it is in action. And this is a crate. This is gonna be a little distorted just because it's the Okay, so it has a release plate. This is actually a box plate. got an Empire waist, yeah, for double. Yeah.
You
You
know,
have to,
doesn't
it's
matter
not a
where you would-
14-inch waist, it's, no, of course, we do it to the,
The
and
top,
to the
I mean, or like back to the other side of that.
14 and a half.
Okay, from the top to the back.
Not diagonally, just, you know, straight.
Okay, anywhere.
Empire, this is an Empire waist, okay. 14 and a, yeah, 14 and a half. Yes. Yeah. What'd you say, arms? Sorry, I'm at the end of your table. Okay, that's dropping on the floor. And then don't, just wait a minute, because this has to go first. And come away from the door, because that's folded. This is folded. Now, you kind of got the jackpot, you come down on this, you're gonna get it. Okay, yeah. Okay, so the way it works is, yeah. Take this off. This up here. So. Okay, so it's a halter. This goes from here. It's really actually pretty cool. You gently put that in now. Don't stress it, if it doesn't fit, but is it too tight? Alright, hold this and just squeeze it. Should just put a small one for the get-go. Okay, so this goes here. And so this is gonna be, did you want the other, oh, you're not, see? But see, a size 12 in 1970, it's not a size 12 today, because it's a size 10. And that is 71, but it's, well, it's interesting, because this person has a much bigger hip than a father. So this is a Mexican. We're just gonna, we're gonna get that. So let's try. Okay. Okay, ready? This is your halter. Oh, see, now this is too small. Whatever. Now, if this was for show, I would care. So just, now the zipper for women, always goes to the left. But see how ingenious this is? So, when we could pin this up, it actually has, see this, so that mounted hooked on the same thing. Well, the interesting thing is he has his tag in the phone. So that might mean that this is meant to go like that. It's a little unusual to have a seam like that. Okay, now is there, does it attach to it? Because it has a loop. Anyway, okay, but see how cool it is? It's actually really, it's actually covered in lumber, right? And then the capelet is built on. And we can just put the tie. Ah, you know what it's for? The tie. Oh, it goes here. Twenty questions. Okay, so then this goes here, but see, then that keeps that sort of center, and this. All right, now, let's set it up, looking for exact that. This is the whole thing here. See, it's like, okay, let's settle for a second. Very elegant reading dressing. And then, and you're covered up, but you're also. Isn't that cool? Very cool. It's actually a really genius design. And last week you were in the lecture, I showed you all those little capelet things that are going on, it's just all over the place. James Brown is doing that, Slice Down, like a lot of musicians. We're gonna gently take that back out of that when we get to the table. So see, this was custom for somebody, because it's not standard. So you should, although it was the top of the thing, okay, no, it could have been off the rack. Because we didn't have the right size for it. So. So then we're like, Christine, you're next, and then there's, sorry. So please, can you gently, this out of here, one at a time, do that, just bring it up. Now, let's see. All right, I just want to place these here. I'm just going to use the end of your table for staging. So you know, if you need to take a break, you can just do it on your own time, since there's no lecture happening. Yada, yada. Okay. And this is the way to sort of examine, so it's totally on. Line for the summer, but it does have finished. It does have overall seams, they finished that day. So that is hard. And this is a yoke. Where's the top? So, can you? So when you have something that crisscrosses, surplus already. So class, here's a word for you, and it's still used today. It's called surplus. It's a wrap top, but they still call it surplus. So this Yves Saint Laurent Rive Gauche, so it wraps like this and then ties. That's a surplus, see it? Right, so it's not sewn clothes, there's no closure. Everyone understand that? Still used today, we'll still call it a surplus. And what's nice about it for you as a sewer, you don't have to put a placket in, hooks or eyes or anything. You do have to work on the tie, but it's very accommodating to a lot of different body types, right? So that's a surplus, okay? In case you didn't know that. Can you take that without your dry? Just help me. You go over. So you three labels, did we see any others? Okay, now that's coming from them, so that's from FIT. That's their expression number, but that's not our expression. We will be working on that. So we didn't see anything else in there. Did it give you a circuit? We're gonna look up the exception. So can you button that? Okay, now one thing about this, you should write about, is you'll talk about the placket. How many buttons it has. But look at its little face. You know it has a so you have this is a midriff. So if you have a sewing detail like this, I want to show you. It's called a midriff. Just like you think, when you bare your midriff, it's also bearing your midriff. But when you sew a panel of fabric, there's a panel, it's hard to tell, but there's a panel sewn in here. It's also called the midriff. M-I-D-R-I-F-F, right? And, when you see this, you see it in the 1930s, really. Yeah. And the 70s were a real throwback to the 30s, all right? Just FYI. Sorry, I had junk in my eyes. Okay, you understand? Okay, so you want to take a front shot? even if there's a panel of batteries,